Okay. So now we're streaming. Let's make sure that audio is working. And we're streaming. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. If you saw the like 2-minute stream before that, I had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but that's been fixed and we are ready to go. So there's okay. Let me get my thoughts together. So last time we implemented the runnable interface into the chat sender class here, and that is because we needed to have it run on the main thread, because for whatever reason Fancy Message requires it to run on the main thread. I have just 3D printed a nuts, and now I need to print like a bunch more. So I am going to quickly hit print again, and that'll start up. Anyway, so let's see here. The thing that I noticed was that we still have this test status here, which, as far as I know, if we were to open up the game here, I actually don't even have it open. Did I even... I have to, man, I got a lot of stuff open right now. So let's go to .minecraft here, and let's launch, cancel. Let's launch Minecraft with the high-performance NVIDIA processor. I had some issues with my computer, interestingly enough. What it seems is that a Windows update has recently caused quite a tremendous issue that I've been having on and off, or now more recently on all the time. My FPS was locked to 40 whenever I went into a full screen application, and I could not figure out why. And after digging around on some forums, what I've determined is that it's actually an issue with the screen mirroring. So you'll notice behind me right there is my laptop. That's the same screen that you see, and that screen is normally on, but you'll see that right now it's blank, it's black, because I have it turned off. And that has fixed my screen, or my 40 FPS issue, but the problem now is that I don't want to have a black screen back there. I want it to have the thing on it. So I have messed around a little bit with the Intel drivers, haven't quite figured it out yet, but it will be back up and running soon, hopefully. Anyway, let's go into multiplayer here, and let's go to our localhost server so we can demonstrate where the plugin is at so far. So if I type something here, we can see that when I hover over my name, I get test. And where is that test coming from? That test is coming from right here, the status. I just gave it a random string test. And the issue with that is we obviously want the player to be able to set their own status. So we're going to be working on that first. So the first thing that I was looking at here in my notepad file here... Ooh, something fell off. What fell off? Oh no, I don't know. I heard what sounded like a nut fall off of something. Well, everything looks fine, so we'll continue. So that was nut number 2 of 16. So I'm gonna put that over here and quickly start up another one. If I start it up fast enough, we don't have any issues with it not printing it. Or, that made no sense. We don't run into any issues with it, what am I trying to think of here? It takes less time because it doesn't have to cool down. Because once you finish a print, the printer will start cooling down back to ambient temperatures, but if you start another print right away, it doesn't have to cool all the way down and then start all the way back up, so it also puts less stress on it. Whatever. Back to this, so I'm going to add another field to the example player data, and that's going to be status. And the status will have whatever, my status, sure. So that is what we're going to put in now. So the first thing that we need to do is take a look at where we instantiate our players, I believe. So let's look at our player manager. So when we load players, we're just loading their active channel and their subscribed channels. We're not loading their stuff, their status. So we need to do that. So let's get started here. What do I need to do? So when we load players, it gets the configuration section players from the playerdata.yml file. Then for every key in this set, we look at the key and we get their active channel, their subscribe channel, and we add them, or we add a new player to the chatters list. So, and again, this is going to get annoying, isn't it? That I have to stop every 5 seconds to pull a nut off the thing. But I've got a lot of nuts to print, so it's important that I do this. And print. Go ahead. Okay, so, I'm thinking we're going to have a status here. And when we add a player, that's where this is going to happen. So let's see here. Load players. So we also need a string for the status. String status equals players config.get configuration section key dot get string for status. And then we need to go into our chatter object here, and we need to add a string status into this. We need to add a status string here, and we need to do this dot status equals status, like so. And now that is active. From there, we can add that to our player manager, which now has a bad constructor. And to do that, we're just going to do status, like that. Now, in the add player, we'll also have this issue. And we need to do player config dot create section, and we'll call this status, and then player config dot set, and we're going to set status to no status. Sure. And then we need to have a status. Where are we getting these from? Add player. Where are we getting this add player from? Where is add player being called? Probably in the player join listener. But before we do that, let me quickly grab this nut. That sounds great, doesn't it? And no, I'm not using pliers because it's heavy, or not heavy. I'm using the pliers because it makes it easier. It's not that it's hot. Anyway, back to this. Let's see in here. We have player manager.add player. So, where are we getting these from? String active channel equals no. Player join for channel gets the channels if they have the permission. Active channel equals channel dot get name. So that's where we're getting the active channel for channel manager dot get channels subscribed channels. Okay, what I think I'm gonna do here is just add in a string string status equals no status, like that, and then we can come in here and just put status and status. Okay, cool. So now we need a way of setting a status, which we haven't done yet. So the chatter thing here, we need a set status method, public void set status string status, and then we'll do stuff once I grab the nut. So we're 4 down. This will be number 5 out of 16, so we're getting there. Just takes quite a while to make all 16 of them. Okay, so we have set status, and how are we going to do that? We're basically just going to do this dot status equals status, like so. And then we need to use that set status method within our player manager. But before we do that, we need to do an addition to our chat command. So if we come back to our notepad file here, we need to add a status command here. Chat status. Ooh, I wonder if we want to have a status command for other players, maybe? So you can see another player's status? Nah, we'll just do status and then status. And allows player or sets player status. Okay. So it's just in the chat command, which we already have here. So now we need to look at the ending curly brace here and do if strings 0 equals, else if string 0 equals ignore case not info, but status, then everybody should have permission to set their own status, so you don't really need to have any permission for it. So then we just need the player manager. So private player manager equals crew chat dot get instance dot get player manager. And excuse me once again as I grab the nut. And that makes nut number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, we're getting there. 10 more. And then I can move on to spacers and screws. Anyway, back to what we're doing here. So if we have status, it's a very simple command. So string status equals strings 1. And that's our status. Then we need to do a command, or we need to go into the player manager. So we're gonna need a method in our player manager to set status. So we're gonna do public get or set status, and that's going to take in a player and a string status, like so. And then this is where it's going to get a little bit confusing, because we basically need to do what we did earlier in the... was it the channel manager? I don't remember. Channel... no. It was something to do with... was it a channel? Or maybe it was in the chat sender? Was somewhere that I was using a weird array thing. I don't know where it was. The value of something in an array list. Well, what was it? I don't know. Wow, that was fast. Back to the printer, where we get nut number 7. There we are. And there we go. And back to this. Ooh, I dropped one. Oh no. Oh, I'm not going to be able to find it. I might have found it. Yep, awesome. Yeah, these things are so tiny that it's really easy for me to lose one if I drop it. Okay. So, back to what we were doing. We're trying to find... channels.get, channels.index up. Yeah, right here. So, channel from string, we basically create a channel with a random thing, but then we don't want to return that channel. We want to return the channel that it's meant to represent. So that's what we need to set up. So that's pretty simple-ish. So we need to do chatter equals new chatter, and then we need to set it up with a UUID, which we can do player dot get unique ID, and then all of these are superfluous, so we can just do null, 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 like so. So now we need to look at whether or not chatter has a compare to method, which it does not, or an equals method, I'm sorry, not a compare to. Compare to returns an integer value based on something. Equals is what we care about, and I'm gonna put it above the getters and setters here, or I guess all of these methods are kind of in a random order. We'll just put it at the bottom. We can look at that later. Public boolean equals chatter, and then it's basically the same thing as what the other one is, and I think we want an at override right there, or maybe not. Do we? How did I do it in the other one? So that was in the channels, and excuse me for one moment here as I take our nut off of the thing, and then we'll hit print again. And that is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're a little stringy. That is fine though. Okay. Jeez. So, oh my god, that is loud. I'm gonna put my phone on silent. You know. There we go. Now it won't shut up. Oh wait a minute. I was supposed to check something. Okay, sorry. This is a really crazy stream right now. Okay, so why is this at override? Oh, I'm sorry. We need object like that. And then we can basically copy what the channel has. So if the object is an instance of a chatter in this case, so if object instance of channel, we are going to return, and this is name dot equals channel object dot name. So we can do that, but we're gonna use not channels. So return, we're looking at the UUID dot equals, and then channel. Oh, am I using channels here by accident? I mean to use chatter like that, and then chatter again. Expression detected. Again with the printer. I feel like I've been doing this too much. But this is gonna make it better and safer, and it's gonna be good. My dashboard. Okay, back to this. Name dot equals channel object dot name, so chatter object dot name dot uuid. Oh, thank you for invalidating what I wrote, because whatever else, return false. Right? Right. So now we have an equals method, and we can use that equals method to compare chatters, which is what we need to do in here. So, following along with what we did in the channel manager, if channel.contains channel, which it's then going to use the equals method, we can return that, but we're basically going to do a little bit of a different thing. But we're going to do chatter equals, which this is going to get a little funky, but it'll make sense once I explain it. And then we're going to use the chatters.contains where did that go? Contains chatter. Whoops. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Let's do the if statement. Or do we need to do that? No. Okay. Chatter equals chatters.get chatters dot index of chatter, like that. And then for the next part, we do chatter dot set status status, and like that we have a method. And for some reason, invalid, it doesn't, oh, wait. And then we need to use that set status command. And one moment please, as I grab my nut. That just sounds wonderful. We are up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is number 10. Awesome. Wait a minute. We need 6 more. Yeah. Okay, cool. Back to this. Let's see. So the set status command then needs to be used in the chat command here by doing player manager dot set status event. How do we do that? How do we get the player? Isn't it event? Just command sender. Command sender. Oh, we need another thing. If not command sender instance of player, if not this, oops, instance of player, then we need to print Then we need to do a crew chat dot get instance dot get logger dot info can't be run from console. Otherwise, else, we can do this, player manager dot set status, and then in the set status we need to do player equals command player commands sender. So we're casting our command sender as a player, and then we can do player and status like so, and that should do it. Wow, I feel like I do like one line of code and then I'm instantly ready to start another print. Believe me, this is crazy because normally prints take hours to do, so this is completely different to normal. So let's see what happens when we run this, because as far as I know, we should have everything set up. So the first thing that should happen when we run this, assuming everything worked, and it looks like it did, we can do chat status test, and can't be run from console. Good, so it's working. Next thing we're going to do is take a look at what happens when I set it from a player's perspective. Test, or whoops, chat status fart. I do not have permission to perform this command. Okay, so I might have jumped the gun a little bit. Let's look in our plugin.yml file where we don't actually have a permission node, or oh, do I just not have chat.info.use? Pex group mats. crewchat.reload, crewchat.default.active.global, and I think that's it. So we want text group mat add crewchat.chat.info.use, which that permission's probably going to change, but then we can do chat status farts. And it doesn't do anything because we didn't set it to do anything just yet, but we will fix that. Okay. Sorry, totally sidetracked here. So this permission is referring specifically to the, oh my god. Ooh, cancel. I feel like I am not getting anything done here. So what number was that? We are now at number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 4 more. Looks good. Okay, so this command, or this permission, is specifically looking at the, permission to run the info command, which isn't what we want. We should just have crewchat.chat here. Um... Okay. So... Allows player to run chat info. I feel like I should come back at this when I'm not in the middle of a million things. Why don't we do that? We'll pick up in a little while.